You are listening to the Postcast, the first Postcast of the 2022-2023 NHL season. That is live Postcast, and I'm joined by a special guest. It's Brennan from Everyday Sens. I'm Brandon Piller 1 from the Locked On Senators podcast, and look, it was the first Battle of Ontario, Saturday night, hockey night in Canada. The bright lights are on. The Sens lose their first game in Buffalo. Another disappointing loss, though, here, Brennan, as the Sens, they just cannot hold on as the Leafs had pressure on them all game. Drew ties it up late, but then Hall gets that greasy goal near the end, and the Leafs end up walking away with this one.
Yeah, Justin Hall scoring that goal tells you everything you need to know. That should not have happened, but yeah, they were on their heels all game. It was not a good performance at all, so I think there's a lot to clean up there, and they're down 0-2 now, so not a lot of time here.
Yeah, it's going to make the home opener that much more of a big game, like down 0-2. And we've talked about it ad nauseum, how much this team cannot afford to have another bad start. Only 4 wins in the first 20 games, 2 years in a row. Already not looking good here. But I think this could also be a case of a lot of key players in new spots. I mean, you can even look at Pinto, a guy that wasn't around much. Sanderson is just getting used to the NHL, although I thought this was a great game for Jake Sanderson, and DJ Smith is putting him in big situations at the end of games, starting off power plays. Brennan, I'll start with this. What was your vibe heading into this game? I know I was a little bit nervous. The classic Matt Murray getting injured. He's on the LTIR, not just a minor tweak there. So that changed the whole outlook of what this game is going to look like. But how did you feel heading into this one?
I felt good. I mean, I thought they played a good game in Buffalo. Didn't get the win, but it was kind of the opposite of this game. They took it to Buffalo a little bit. So I was hoping they would get a little more chemistry going with those top 2 lines, and that didn't seem to happen. So going into it, I felt good. Leaving it, I feel a lot worse than I felt going in. So I guess that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, this was, it seemed like Toronto really held possession for most of the game, but when Ottawa did get in the O-zone, I thought they made pretty good do with what they got, hit a couple posts. Brady hit the post in a tough one. I thought Tyler Mott had a nice chance where he just swept that puck away and Samsonov wasn't quite ready for it. Giroux looked good once again. Thank goodness he at least was able to bang in that one and make it a close game right there at the end. How do you feel about DJ Smith starting on the show, we like to call it not the second power play unit because they're both pretty even. We call it PP unit double A. It's the A unit and double A. So the one with Sanderson, Giroux, Pinto, and DeBrincat and Tyler Mott. How do you feel about them getting the start for the power play?
Yeah, I prefer that unit so far anyway.
Okay.
I did a film study earlier today before the game. I looked at their power plays from the game against Buffalo. And that top unit, I mean, they showed a lot last year, but I don't you've got Alex DeBrincat, you've got Claude Giroux. These guys, you saw it. I mean, they make things happen. They didn't play a lot in the first game, but in my opinion, I prefer them right now. I'm starting to lean a little bit towards maybe trying to mix it up, though. I mean, I know they scored today, but I think there's some different opportunities there, and same with the top 6 lines too. So.
Yeah, and DJ has been moving things around a little bit. I mean, we noticed that Brandstrom had been paired with Chabot a couple times. Even at the end there with the goalie pulled, that was a duo that DJ Smith wanted to go with. And I like that power play unit as well, especially with the fact that I think in a lot of people's minds, they're thinking DeBrincat is going to be the trigger guy, but Giroux is not hesitating at all to set up Pinto. I mean, what a release on that shot. Having we kind of wanted Norris and DeBrincat on the same unit in the offseason just to be all right, then you got 2 shooters on each side. They don't know who to cover, but Pinto is turning out to be quite an elite sniper with that release.
Yeah, and that bumper play was working. Just in the preseason 2 against Montreal, they did the same thing, and he knows how to get open, Pinto. He finds just a second of space, and Giroux is the perfect guy to find him. He knows exactly when to pass it. And when teams start taking that away, then DeBrincat's open. So then that cross seam becomes open. You can pass to him, and he snipes it. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the next few games, but that should start to open up for DeBrincat too.
Definitely. We saw a video of Giroux working on that cross-seam pass to DeBrincat on the power play drill. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Now, there were some positives from this game, but ultimately they lose 3-2 here. Brendan, where did this game fall apart for you? What was kind of the main reason why the Senators weren't able to come away with the W here?
I don't think there was even one specific thing. I just think they like I would blame it on the system, like I have been all night on Twitter. Like they just don't own the puck. I don't know
Yeah.
how you don't own the puck, but it's like Smith tells them to just get over the red line, fire it in, and go chase it. Right. And then a good team like Toronto, their defense just picks it up and they break it out quick. You don't even have time to get the puck on the forecheck. So in my opinion, like they just need to own the puck more. They need to skate it through controlled entries. It's a big thing. And so far it's not they're not doing that under DJ. So hopefully they can adjust, but that was my big error today.
Yeah, I think definitely you're seeing the glaring weak decor here already. Even up against a team like Buffalo, you could kind of notice it. And then when you go up against a top tier offensive team like Toronto, you're going to see that as well. But Brendan, I really thought I thought the biggest strength would be, okay, Thomas Chabot finally has the top partner on the right side, and Artem Zub on this team at least. Those two should be clicking. Those two should be doing really well. Like in my mind, it was almost like DJ's like, we're going to load that top D pair and they're going to play heavy minutes. And they have, but that's been the D chord that hasn't looked great, especially when you're looking at their Corsi numbers. I'm just looking at natural stat here, and Thomas Chabot and Artem Zub played 18:45 together, and the Corsi 4, you're sitting at 12, Corsi against at 28, good for 30%. Like, those are god-awful numbers to be giving up against a team like Toronto. So I'm a little nervous about that top pair not looking so great. But kind of the flip side to that is at least Jake Sanderson has looked good in the 2 games he's played. I've thought he's made a lot of kind of quick, smart plays. He's not going to make the highlight reel ones that you're going to see on SportsCenter over and over, but it's those smart, poised, kind of mature plays that he's able to do. Are you at all concerned about the top pair? And do you think maybe that's an area where DJ Smith will have to tinker a little bit more as well?
I wouldn't say I'm concerned. I will say just about the Corsi numbers is that like I just looked and they played the most against the Matthews line. So they played 10 minutes against that line at 5v5.
Yeah, it's
And
tough.
Ottawa was matching with the Austin Watson fourth line against that line. So they were
That
obviously
kept
going to be
happening,
hemmed
yeah.
in. But I'm not concerned. But yeah, Chabot, honestly, like Sanderson's looked better than him in 2 games, in my opinion, by a lot. Like Chabot's just, he's not handling the puck well. His skating's a little off. He's turned it over a lot. Thought he played better tonight than he did against Buffalo. But yeah, I wouldn't mind, again, kind of like the whole lineup. I wouldn't mind them trying some different things if this continues. Because if you lose to Boston at home in a packed building, like you're down to 0-3 now. You got to win 3 games just to break even. Like that's a problem. That's not easy to do. So yeah, he's gonna have to make some adjustments here soon.
Yeah, especially if you go down in that game, then I believe, just loading the schedule here, I believe the next game is Washington. Like, that's not going to be an easy game either. At least to get Arizona on the weekend, hopefully give you a bit of a break there. But that could be a trap game, too, if it's tough sledding for the Sens and they decide to ease up here. I'm going to start off with my Sen Central standout. It's a goalie-friendly show. I thought easily the best player for the Ottawa Senators, probably both nights, but especially this night, was Anton Forsberg. Like, this guy just really makes at least me and probably fans and players and DJ Smith, he really puts everyone at ease. And I find the best part of his game is his rebound control was on fire tonight. Like, he's catching pucks, he's freezing pucks. A couple shots handcuffed him and he had to kind of squeeze it, but he's got it. And really the goals that happened, like that Hall one at the end, I kind of blame the defensive breakdown more than Forsberg there, because that's a bang play. And then that Nylander shot, I mean, you could put Vasilevsky in net there if he has that time and space and picks the corner like that. There's no chance. So and then a tip for the first goal. So really, none of those goals I put on Forsberg, and he did a really good job under pressure. So Forsberg's going to be my Sen Central standout. Brendan, who do you got tonight?
Yeah, firstly, I do definitely agree with that. Like nobody's really been giving love to Forsberg, but he's been
Yeah.
really good again. Like, and
So good.
he was incredible since January. Like he was
Yeah.
phenomenal last season. Really, really good. Which makes it sting even more that they're losing these games because like he's giving them every chance to win. Like. But anyways, I'm gonna go. There's a couple in this game. I'm gonna go with Claude Giroux. I think
Nice.
that goal, man, like, oh, I was so happy for 3 minutes right there. Like
Same.
the
Yeah.
celebration, he was so fired up in Toronto. It was awesome. He felt good, but he was making things happen aside from that too. Like he's been able to find DeBrincat a little bit. Um, he's working hard defensively. He's transitioning well. He's not dumping it in and chasing it quite as much as a few other guys. So the goal was kind of the cherry on top, but I'm hoping they can get going with Norris too. But yeah, Giroux was my guy tonight.
Yeah, and I thought he had a tough start to the face-off game.
Yeah.
Like the first two periods, it was brutal. Like they were putting him out there in high leverage situations, being like, "We need to win this draw," and he would lose it. But then, come kind of the second half of the game, mid of the second period and the third period, he really ramped it up. And the Ottawa Senators somehow, some way, actually end up winning the face-off battle here. I love talking about the face-off in the postcast, but barely 51% to 49%. But on the broadcast, they were saying at one point Ottawa only had 29% success rate in the dot. So to bounce back and go up to 51%, it's pretty damn good and shows you that near the end of the game, the boys were really trying to win this game. They were putting it all on the line. And I thought we were heading to OT for sure. Like it felt like that, especially like you mentioned, that Giroux goal. I was out of my seat. I was yelling and screaming, and it was just quickly after the Nylander goal. So it kind of quieted the building, which needed to happen. But it's those momentum goals. Ross and I always talk about it on the show. If you score a goal within a minute or two after someone else scores, or at the start or end of a period, it can really burn you. Claude Giroux gets that momentum goal after Nylander, but the Leafs ultimately, they get the last laugh with the last momentum goal, just under 2 minutes left. How did you feel about the Ottawa Senators' strategy with the net pull? Did you think they really had it all together there and had a chance, or it didn't seem like it?
I wasn't super happy with it. Same with last game. I didn't love it. I mean,
Yeah,
DeBrincat wasn't even on the ice for the first 30 seconds that they had the net pulled. Like they
true.
had just not optimal lines. It kind of feels like at that point it's over. I didn't have a ton of faith there, but similar to just like what they've been doing at 5v5 when they have the empty net, they can't get control of the puck.
Yeah.
They fire like what was it, 15 seconds left, and they're firing it into the corner, and the Leafs just take it and clear it out. Like you can't just fire it in every time. You got to make some tape-to-tape passes and skate it. So I don't know. So far, yeah, it's tough to watch them do that every time, but with the net pulled, not a lot of hope.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that, like, the Ottawa Senators power play is a seemingly strong point. So you would think the man advantage with the goalie pull should also be good. But yeah, I thought they had a hard time kind of getting set up. And Timmy, I didn't like, he kind of just dumped it with like 40 seconds, something like that. And maybe he went for a change after. But like if you've got the puck, I would rather him curl back and possess it and then allow the change because, yeah, then the Leafs got it. And Marner actually almost scored there. Shabbat gets a good block to stop that, though. I think kind of a turning point for me in this game, though, was that Nylander goal. I'm just looking at my notes, and it was tough because they almost get the puck out of the zone there. And I absolutely loathe Mitch Marner and so many different plays this game. I was ready to pull my hair out. I just cannot stand the guy, but I got to give him stick taps. He battled hard there. He out battles Josh Norris along the boards and just barely holds that puck in. And then Matthews gets it over to Nylander and they finish it off. Like, that's a pivotal play. I know football is the game of inches, but right there, that's a game of inches. If Josh Norris is able to out muscle Mitch Marner and get that puck out, and then they have to all clear and it doesn't stay in the ozone, that really changes. Was there any pivotal moments for you where you thought really changed the game here?
I would agree with you on that one. I think that just is like it defines the whole game. The Sens were just out battled. Like even I noticed Abe Kubel a bunch of times too in the fourth line for Toronto. Just they were playing keep away. They were winning the battles along the wall. And that's tough because that's where DJ Smith hockey is supposed to shine, is in those battles. But
exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think that was really the main turning point. And then specific moments again, I can't remember a whole lot that like were specific, but just overall, I thought the puck possession was the biggest thing.
Yeah, there was a lot of moments where the Leafs had them hemmed in their own end and long shifts, and you just can't get the clear. And maybe they didn't score on a lot of those. I mean, holding them to 3 goals was pretty good when you consider the puck possession stats, but it's tiring down those players, like the guys like Shabbat that are playing big minutes. And when you have stacked on minute and a half, 2 minute shifts, it really starts to wear down on you. And we're only on game 2 of 82 here. So that'll be interesting. But for a quick positive note before we wrap up here, speaking of game 2, your Belleville Senators beat the Laval Rocket. I believe it was 6-3. So you love to see at least the boys get up to a 2-0 start, and the good people of the Bay of Quinte at CAA Arena stay undefeated. That's a nice look at least, right?
It is for sure. Yeah, I haven't gotten to watch those games, but at least that's a bright spot. I mean, maybe we'll see some of those prospects called up here, and I'm sure injuries will set in at some point. So build some confidence there at least.
Yeah, I'm trying to grab some sort of positive here, Brennan. I'm grasping. I'm switching leagues here and pulling some positivity from Belleville. But the good thing is there's a long season ahead. It's only game 2, and it's not like the Sens got blown out either of those games. Sure, the 4-1 looks bad, but those 2 empty netters were pretty cheeky, and even some long shots that go in. So, and then they barely lose it to the Leafs at the end here. We're hoping there's going to be a bright spot for the home opener Tuesday in Ottawa at the CTC. I'm going to be there. Brandon, are you going to the home opener?
I'm not. I can't go to it, unfortunately, but I will be covering it with clips from home. So there you go.
Damn. Well, you know what? That's actually good because the other people that couldn't make it, they need your work so that they can follow along the game properly. And now that you mentioned it, Brendan, give yourself a shameless plug. Where can people find your work?
Yeah, just at Everyday Sens on Twitter and Instagram, and then everydaysens.com. Doing a lot of work on the website. Got some big things planned. I was talking about it the other day. I've got some big plans in store, but it's going to be a little bit. But just the support everybody's given me is awesome. So hopefully we can back it with a good season here. Don't get into too big of a hole and get some positivity going.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Everybody, if you're not already, what are you doing? But go follow Everyday Sens because he puts out some of the best clips along with our boy Liam's Martian. But you get graphics. Check out his website. So much good stuff. Thanks for joining, Brendan. This was a disappointing loss, but it was fun to get back in the swing of things with the Postcast. Everybody in the chat, we've had about over 100 people here the whole time, so it's been good hanging out with you guys. Hopefully, we get better vibes. I was going to say next Postcast, but we'll see how things go. Probably won't be a Postcast with Ross and I at the home opener, but I can tell you there will be an episode on Monday, and then I'm going to be making the drive up to Ottawa from the Blue Mountains. So fired up for that. For tonight, thanks for joining, guys. This has been another edition of the Postcast for myself, Brandon Piller, for Brennan at Everyday Sens. Have a good night. It's a Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.